Hi everyone, I'm the Idea Maker, and today I am going to be giving you a review that I didn't think I was going to be doing, but here we are. So, as you guys probably noticed by the background and by the title, I actually went to go see Wicked yesterday, and that's in thanks to Amazon, who gave their Prime members a chance to be able to go see it early, and luckily, I got the chance of seeing it, and I am super happy that I did get the chance. And I believe that this was one of the best experiences I've ever had. And I don't say that a lot about movies, especially because of the fact that there's movies that I just go to see to the theaters. But this was an experience that I will never forget because I got to see this on an IMAX screen, and it was absolutely gorgeous. This whole entire movie was breathtaking. It was visually stunning. It was very, very impressive. I'm super impressed by how incredible everything was. The acting was just superb, and I believe that my favorite standout out of every single one of them is Cynthia Erivo, who plays Alphaba, and what a voice she has. It was incredible. And before I went into this movie, I realistically had not read the book that inspired the actual musical, and I never watched the musical on Broadway or any show like where it would show near my area. I never saw it realistically. So I had an idea of what the story was, but I never really knew what the story was. And I'm just going to tell you, I was very impressed with this story, and it made me feel a lot. Like, it made me feel a lot. And there was a lot of feelings that I had when going into this movie, but I was not expecting for these feelings to be so hidden within. And when I went to go see this, I saw this in a theater where a lot of problems happen. What I mean by that is that a lot of problems were a little story. This is actually more of like a Storytime and a review, just by the way. Back in 2009, when The Princess and the Frog came out, my family and I went to go to that same theater 15 years ago at around the same time. And it was a huge, huge theater before they considered it an IMAX theater. And when we went, we had an awesome time watching it. But because at that moment my grandmother was diabetic, type 1 diabetic, and the next day, because of the diabetes, it was a weird moment where it was an eerie coincidence where her a blood vessel in her eye burst, and it blocked some of her sight. So she became partially blind in one eye. And realistically, over the years, I actually thought it was my fault that we went to go see it. But then again, as I grew up over time, I ended up realizing it couldn't have been my fault because nobody would have known. Realistically, nobody would have known that it was going to happen. So I had to stop blaming myself, and I had to stop thinking that it was my fault. And 15 years later, I went to go see this movie, to see Wicked. And this feeling came over me. It was a feeling of nostalgia, but at the same time, it was a feeling that I couldn't shake off. And that was the feeling of letting a part of my past go. and coming to closure. It was something that I didn't think that I was going to feel when going into this movie, because of the fact that my grandmother passed this year, and I took this as a learning and growth experience. I've been now going to the movies by myself because of my mom's new job, and our schedules are not aligned yet. They won't for a while, and I felt like I needed this time to recognize and realize that my grandmother's in a better place, and the themes of this movie really spoke to me because of the fact that a lot of what's going on in Wicked is what's going on in our real world. And a lot of what was going on with Alphabet was something that I've been going through for a while. And it was something that I personally needed, especially to feel like if I'm maturing and not like I'm holding myself back from anything. And I'm just so grateful that I got to see it now at a time where I feel like I'm really maturing from this, from being kind of like a kid to really maturing to an adult. And I started really maturing ever since then my grandmother passed, and this movie really brought that maturity out. Now, as a Christian, I do give credit to God, and I do say thank you to the Lord to putting this idea in my mind to go. And I felt like watching this, I felt like the Lord was telling me, you're doing fine. You're doing okay. It's a hard process to go through, but you're trusting in me and you're trusting in my process. And I'm just sitting in this theater and I'm wondering, why? Like, why this theater? Why did you want me to go back? And I felt like he told me it was because that you need to let some things go. And in the sense that of Wicked, I felt like afterwards, I felt like I really was defying the emotional gravity that was holding me down, the mental gravity that was bringing me down, the spiritual gravity of the enemy trying to grasp a hold on me. I felt like that was bringing me down a little, and the physical gravity of stress and anxiety was pulling me down. And I'm so grateful that I went to see this because I feel like in the end, realistically, I think that this really helped me to overcome, or I would say at least have the strength from God to overcome the trauma that I've experienced. This was a little push that I needed. And I want to thank God for doing that, for giving me that push that I needed in order for me to overcome this stress, this anxiety, and this turmoil that I felt for a while. And I'm really grateful that I got to see it. And I think going by myself was the best choice that I made so far for this one. Now, I will go see this movie again because there is so much going on in this movie that, despite it being 2 hours and 40 minutes, this movie goes by really quick. I felt like this movie was like about an hour and 45 minutes, realistically, because of how fast-paced it is, how funny it is. It can get funny, and that's in part to Ariana Grande as Glinda, but I was actually kind of a little skeptical with her, but she really knocked it out of the park. She proved that she could be able to distance herself as a pop singer. She really proved it, and I believe that she has a beautiful range. Her voice, I already loved it, but she she changed her voice a little to make it feel more Broadway like and more theatrical. And that's what I really appreciated from it, was that of how theatrical it was. I really felt like it was something beautiful that I believe that both Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande were paying the respects to the original actresses for Glinda and Elphaba from the Wizard of Oz, like the actual Wizard of Oz. And I'm gonna look them up just so that way I know that it's like I'm actually paying my respects to them, which would be let's see, Billy Burke and Margaret Hamilton. There you go. I knew Margaret Hamilton. I just didn't know about the actress who played Glinda in the original Wizard of Oz. And I really, I really loved this. I really did. It was beautiful. Like, I don't know what to say because it just really captivated me. The sets were so real. It was very impressive to see how real these sets were. I was blown away with how incredible it was. I really, really was. And I'm so happy that I got this chance to be able to see it in an IMAX theater. And it really blew me away. Like, it really, really blew me away. Like, I can't say anything bad about it. The acting also from different actors and the voice actors for Michelle Yeoh, for Jeff Goldblum, for Jonathan Bailey, from Ethan Slater, and Peter Dinklage. Top notch. Top notch. Everybody in this movie did so fantastic. And I gotta hand it to director John M. Chu for making a fantastic Broadway movie adaptation that it just made me feel like Broadway musicals can be adapted to a movie and can be done right. This was something that I can't believe that happened, but was just blown away and immersed in this experience that I just cannot think could have been done any other way. And because that I never read the book that inspired the play, and I never watched the play before, it left me wanting more. As soon as the first act was done, I needed to see part 2. Like, I needed to see it right away. But unfortunately, I have to wait until later, and I will wait until later. Unfortunately, I will do a revisited reaction to Wicked Part 1. I will, because I feel like this movie has a lot to talk about that I would love to express in the spoiler review. And I really loved this movie. Like, I really, really loved this movie. It was something that I couldn't believe that happened. And I really need to just dive right in again into this whole fantastical world of Oz. And getting to this point where I could be able to really feel the experience within the first several seconds, realistically, is captivating. And I'll give you another story that happened during this time when I was in the theater. When I was when the logos started appearing, when the Universal logo started appearing, it appears in a different way. I'm not going to say how, but it appears in a different way than normal. The craziest thing happened. Um, the speakers that are in the theater that I was in for the IMAX theater, well, actually, it was close to an IMAX theater. Um, the lights there's lights on the speakers, but the opening logo kind of makes it feel like you're about to watch a magical fantasy movie, and it enhanced that by the speaker, the lights on the speakers flickering like magic and syncing up with the screen. I wish that it did that for the whole entire movie, but just with the opening alone, I thought, wow, just wow. Like, it was such a magical experience that I couldn't even believe that it was that magical. It was that beautiful. It was such a beautiful experience that I thought, whoa, like, where did this even come from? Who thought of this idea? This was so great. Like, this was amazing beyond anything. And I couldn't even believe it because of how gorgeous everything was. And when I closed my eyes, I could still see it. That's how impactful it was. It made my day. It really did. And I'm very happy that it did because I really wanted to feel like I was watching something very special. Something that a lot of people, especially who watched Wicked on Broadway, that they felt like it was important to them. So, while this is a non-spoiler review, I will give a few things. They're not going to be spoilers, but let's just say they do add a lot of the book, from what I think, to the actual movie. There are several cameos in one particular scene that you're going to be thinking, wow, like, really? Like, did they got them? You're going to be really that one really got me excited because I wasn't expecting these cameos. Probably you guys probably might. I think the way that I want to phrase it is, I think for those who are the Broadway fans, I think you were anticipating this, but I think you're going to be very, very happy with this outcome. And for those who are who did not grow up with Wicked and who love who love these actors who appear, I think you're going to really like this scene in particular. I'm not going to say what scene. It's really hard for me not to talk about it because of how excited I got, because I recognize them both from respective things that they've been in, and then also from listening to the soundtrack of Wicked. So I did listen to the soundtrack from Wicked, and I gotta admit, I was really loving the music of this movie. The choreography for this movie was fun and fantastic, and it really immersed me into this environment that it made me feel like I really was watching a Broadway musical brought to the big screen. I have not felt like this since Les Miserables with Hugh Jackman and Russell Crowe and Anne Hathaway and Amanda Seyfried. I've not felt that way since that movie 12 years ago. And I loved Les Miserables. I love it. It's such an amazingly beautiful movie. And it's a beautiful play. It really is. And then, to be honest, I never really got into musicals until after Les Miserables. There were three musicals that I feel like helped define a part of my life, or at least half of it. So, Les Miserables was what got me to respect musicals more and really made me understand how music can be used to help show emotion. The emotion that we definitely need when it comes to trying to stick with the environment. Because I was talking to my mom about this. And I was telling her about the musical itself and the movie. And I thought, okay, musicals to me are better than Broadway plays for a lot of reasons. And that's because of the fact that I believe that Broadway plays have some sort of a limit. And when you want to try to get your emotions out on a play, you can't do so because there's specific rules that you have to abide to, whether if it's the tone or the environment of the play or the genre of the play, you have to stick to it. And to me, it doesn't give you that freedom to be able to dig deep into your emotions that much. And I really don't like feeling restricted. With musicals, when I saw Les Miserables, I really felt their emotions seeping into their acting and into their singing. And it really made me want to comprehend more about what it means to be in a musical and what musicals mean. And I felt like, in the end, I felt like I just I just feel like everything was just blowing my mind when I saw Les Miserables. And it just transported me like an experience that I never thought that I knew that I needed. It was gorgeous. The whole entire thing was gorgeous. And I will never forget seeing Les Miserables 3 times in the theaters. It was such a great movie. Always loved it. Always will love it. For those of you who have not seen it, you will not be disappointed. It is incredible. It's the whole entire play brought out. And it's so good. So, so good. I love every moment of it. I love every single moment of Les Miserables. Now, second musical that helped me to appreciate musicals more was Hamilton. Because I didn't realize that rap could help bring out anger and deeper feelings that you really couldn't get out. I feel like anger is a huge part of music. And I believe now that when I saw Hamilton on Disney Plus, see, I already was familiar with the music, but now when I got to see the film version on Disney Plus, I really believe right there on the spot that rap could add to it. And that's what makes Lin-Manuel Miranda a musical genius, because rap and singing helps to balance out your emotions and your feelings. Sure, you can sing angrily, but sometimes it won't be taken that seriously. When you rap it out, it really brings out a side of you that you didn't really think that you knew that you had. And that's what really got me to appreciate musicals even more and theater. Something that I wish that I would have taken back in high school, but I never got the chance on doing so because they filled out the classes for whatever reason. But I loved it. I loved Hamilton. I will always love it. It's such an eye-opener, educationally and musically. I love it from every standpoint. And then, of course, the third one is Wicked. And Wicked got me to think more about life. It was more of a life lesson musical because of how Alphaba's story really resonated with a lot of what I was going through as a kid and as an adult. And I believe after seeing this, it really makes me rethink a lot about The Wizard of Oz. It really, really does. So I need to see the rest of Wicked in order for me to confirm my thoughts. And to me, I just really feel like how can I even put this without even spoiling it is the question, because I feel like Wicked was an eye opener for me towards the Wizard of Oz and also for my life. It helped me lead to a maturity that I believe that needed to happen. And I knew from that moment, as soon as I was done watching the movie, like as soon as it was finished, I feel like it was the thing I needed to break free from the trauma of my grandmother's death a little bit more. And be able to say, it's okay. She's in a better place. You were brought to the theater to let go of that past that was bringing you down. Because the defying gravity scene in this movie was the scene that left me wanting more. Like, I was in awe. I had goosebumps. I had chills. I was deeply immersed in it. Once it goes to when Alphaba goes and says, so if you care to find me, look to the western sky. Once it hits that part, you get the chills of a lifetime. And the visuals that are on there makes you want more. And I feel like that's exactly how it is in the Broadway adaptation. And this just brought me moved. This movie also made me cry a little bit too in a couple of scenes. In scenes that I'm not going to get into. But everybody knows the defying gravity scene, so I was able to talk about that one. But our audience, the audience that I was with, was kind of silent. I'm going to admit. It was a little silent. They only just clapped when it says when it went to the when it just went to the credits. That was it. But this movie really left me wanting more, and I really want more. So I cannot wait for part 2 to come out in November of 2025, and I'll be there. I will be there, ready to go and ready to just step right in, back into the world of Oz, and get to see this whole thing just come to life. So, with that being said, thank you guys so much for listening to my story time and my non-spoiler review for Wicked, which, if you guys are wanting to see Wicked, there is an opportunity that you could be able to go an early screen showing, which will be for tomorrow at your theater. Any participating theater will have a specific early screening of Wicked for, I believe it's only for one showtime. If you cannot make that, then you can go to the Thursday night showings. And if you cannot make that, Wicked officially opens in theaters November 22nd. And a link in the description will be provided for you to get your tickets right now. And it will just be one of the biggest experiences that you'll ever get to see. Trust me, I absolutely loved it. And I believe this was such a great growing experience in my life. And I hope that it's such an amazing experience for yours. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys want to see more videos like this, then please like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And if you guys are wanting to follow me on any of my social media, I have Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, aka X, my Discord on my Discord server, and my TikTok accounts, which those links will be in the description below. And with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. God bless you all. Stay safe, and I'll see you all in the next videos. Bye, guys.